What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I got another great one for you. Really excited to bring forward this content. We're going to be talking about real estate. And if you guys have been a long time viewer of this channel, you know I tried to get into real estate investing before pandemic hit. All these different things started happening and it just didn't work out. Now I'm in a much better financial position to actually be competitive with my offers. You see, what was happening before is my offers with the FHA loan was putting around 3.5% down. It just wasn't competitive enough. People were beating me out by cash offers that were well above the market asking price without even going in, inspecting the properties or anything. And so I realized, hey, I got to take a step back, slow this down, save up capital, figure out what I can afford for housing. And that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video. In this video here today, what we're going to be talking about is how much house you can afford when you're looking to buy real estate. So let's just jump right in. If you guys are brand new to the channel, I just want to say welcome. My name is Dalton. This is D-Lits TV, and on this channel, we talk about all things investing as well as carving a path to financial freedom. Now, this video here today is kind of a conjunction of a bunch of different information out there on the internet. I've been watching a lot of different influencers, a lot of real estate investors talk about their principles when it comes to buying a property, what they're comfortable with paying. And one of the big influencers in this was Whiteboard Finance. So the spreadsheet you're going to see was a big draw from his video on this. And I just take it a little step further because there are other things that I think are important to account for when it comes to, I guess, buying that property and looking at the numbers. So what I'm going to do is just quickly jump open the spreadsheet and we'll start going over some of the information. All right, so as you can see right here, this is what I like to call the housing affordability calculator. And I've highlighted the sections in blue, the ones that you may change, and the other ones pretty much are going to stay the same. They're just equations that are going to fill in automatically. So when you're looking at this, it's important to kind of have a property in mind. I was looking at Zillow just to find a random property that I could apply this to. There's one in my area. Look at that, $299,000. You can get a lot of great information from this. So what I'm going to do is pop this in and fill it in as if I were to buy this property. Now, this isn't one that I'm considering. This is just one as an example. So if I did $299,000, it's going to populate some of this information for you right away. So you're going to have your 20% down payment, which is an estimate. Basically, when it comes to buying a property, putting 20% down is important because you can get rid of what's known as a PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, which basically just lets lenders know that you've got some skin in the game. It's kind of a sunk cost. It's a payment that you're making that you're not really reimbursed. It's not going towards your housing. So it's important that if you can get rid of any extra expenses, you do so. And putting 20% down is going to allow for that. So for when you look at this property, getting 20% down, you're looking at around $59,800 for that. And you can see the loan amount would then equate to $239,200. Now, it's important to understand the annual interest rate, which you can get from a lender. Let's just say for assumption, I mean, it's pretty low right now. Let's go with 3.1%. I need to make sure that I put the percent sign in there. Otherwise, it's not going to calculate right. So let's do that. 3.1%. The life of the loan. So basically, what is your mortgage? How long is the period you're going to be paying this in years? So a lot of people will opt for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So let's go for 30 years right here. I'm going to go ahead and enter that in. And it's going to calculate just a little bit more information. Now, basically, after what this is saying is your payments per period on this mortgage is going to be $1,021.42. The sum of the payments that you're going to make, so what you're going to be paying in total, the house is listed at $299,000. After everything is taken into account, you're going to be paying a total of $367,712. Now, that's taking into account the interest cost, which you see right below it, which is $128,512. So, yeah, when you buy a property, it's kind of common sense. You're going to be paying a little bit more in terms of paying back that loan. So in this particular case, it equates to a rather significant amount, over $100,000. And then you get down to this estimation section where this is where it's important to take a look at Zillow or another website to get some real estate information. So I want to get the taxes off of this. So I'm just going to scroll down on the right-hand side here. We're going to look at how much we're actually paying monthly, I guess, and yearly in taxes on a property like this. So you can see that the property taxes here is $434 a month or $5,203 a year. So I'm going to enter 5,203 right here, 5203. Let's do that. and I'm going to hit enter. And then you're going to get insurance, which is annual. Let's pop back here, see if there is mortgage insurance. You can get home insurance at $105 a month or $12.56 for a year. So let's go with 12. Let's go ahead and do $12.56. Enter that in right there. Now, HOA, this is only kind of if you're buying like a condo or something that requires you to pay HOA fees, which is basically like little maintenance fees. And on this particular property, it's actually nothing. So I'm going to put 0 here. But if you did have an HOA, you could enter it in this chart as well. And then I just like to accumulate and get an understanding. You know what? If I included utilities, how much am I going to be paying for that type of stuff? And so let's just assume that you're paying around $150 a month in utilities as well. So that's going to bring your total payment to $1,709.67 per month. Now, getting to the right side of this is where things start to get interesting. You can see that this is kind of where it takes into account the salary and the wages for the people who are buying this property. So maybe it's not just you that is making a payment here. Maybe you are bringing somebody else in on this purchase. Maybe a husband, a wife, a significant other that you're looking to buy a property with. But in my case, I'm just trying to buy this on my own with my own personal income. Now, in this case, let's just say we're taking the average income for a U.S. worker at $56,000. We're entering that right here. Basically, what we're trying to get is the mortgage, utility, and income to be around 30%. Now, this kind of comes from Dave Ramsey and his way of thinking. You want it to be around 30% of your take-home pay. And so I entered $56,000 for the annual income right here, just as a rough estimate. And you can see that the total gross income, again, is $56,000. But then you take it a step further. Let's think you're paying some in taxes, right? When you're being paid money, you got to pay taxes. Maybe you're putting some money into a 401k. So it's hard to assume that maybe your salary is $56,000. You are not making or taking home $56,000 at the end of the day. So what I did for an estimate was just estimated 30% is not going to be there. So let's say after all this stuff, your take home is now $39,200. Okay. So your monthly net income based off that, so the $39,200 divided by 12 is going to get you the $3,266.67. So basically looking at that number, I would say that this house is not necessarily affordable for somebody with this income level looking to buy a $300,000 house. But there are ways that you can get around this, right? And so I have a different set down here where you can actually house hack, right? You can rent out rooms. You can take on roommates to be able to offset some of this cost. So let's say this house was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. So you could take on as much as like 2-3 extra people if you were looking to bring in some extra income. And so when you look at this, let's say my girlfriend was going to pay me some rent when she was staying here, and I won't charge her as much as the going rate. A going rate around my area is probably about $900 per person, but let's say she was paying $600 for this. What we're going to find is that, wow, we're a heck of a lot closer to that 30%. We're at 33% down here. Now, let's say that we took on another roommate, right? We got one of my friends who was down, and they decided to chip in as well in terms of rent. So we're going to look at this number right here. We're going to equate this out to, let's say, $825. We're still giving them a decent discount per month. And then you can see, obviously, the new percentage drops all the way down to 8%. So on this property where you're paying $1,700, I'd really be paying around 8% or $284 out of my own pocket to afford this. So something that's not really affordable up front becomes a little bit more affordable if you start to think a little bit outside the box. Now, up here, you can see that there's other sections to this chart. There's extra income. So you guys know I work a 9-to-5 job, right? And I'm also getting some side income on YouTube. So maybe you got some extra income coming in. I calculated this out to be monthly. So let's say just from YouTube alone, I'm able to pull in an extra $2,000 a month. And so when I do that, obviously the initial number gets much closer to that 30%. It's at 36%. So I would need significantly less money from other people in order to get that down to the 30% target rate that I'm looking at. But let's say that you were just taking on another income. Let's say maybe my girlfriend was making some money and her salary was around, I guess, $50,000, for example, here. How is that going to affect these numbers? Now, you can see it becomes a lot more manageable when you have more people people obviously that are coming in on this purchase with you. And so let's say then I got a raise, right? So this next column is just to account for any extra like raises, or if you just wanted to toy around with it, see new values coming in here. So let's say my annual income went all the way up to $65,000. And let's say my girlfriend's is now $67,000. How is this going to affect what we're making for payments here? It's really kind of interesting to see all of these numbers. Obviously goes down way further to 22%. Your monthly income, taking out the housing expense, would be around $5,990. So it's really important that you get an understanding for this. And basically, when you look at that 30%, you just want to know, like, that's kind of a solid principle. You're not going to be stretching yourself out too thin, and all of this should be made knowing that you have an emergency fund in place, knowing you've got around 6 months. If you were to lose your job, if anything were to happen, you are going to be able to make these payments for an additional 6 months. Scramble, figure out, get on your feet, figure out, you know, if you lost your job, you can get a new job in that time, and just be able to understand, you know, if something happens, you want to make sure that you have capital backed up to get yourself out of the hole that you've been put into. And so that's kind of what I've been looking at right now. There's a lot more that should be taken into account, especially if you're looking to real estate invest for passive income. Maybe you're looking for a property to rent out, right? There's a lot of different ways that you want to go about it, but this is kind of general principle for just buying a property that you were planning on living in for an allotted period of time. And so this is kind of one of the early stages getting back into the real estate investing that I'm looking at, and I just wanted to share this information with you guys. So if you did take anything away from this video, I would really appreciate it if you just hit that like button. It helps promote my channel, get it out on other homepages. And if you guys are interested in following along with my wealth building journey, maybe start building some wealth on your own, then again, great channel for you to check out. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video, and have a great day.